I'd like to call the order of the Utilities Committee meeting to order, July 27th, 2023. Let it be known, Ms. Secretary, that Mr. Robert is absent. And Mr. Coach, would you lead us in the invocation by the pledge?
Let's bow our heads. Most holy and righteous Father, as we assemble ourselves here tonight, we come with praise, we come with honor, and Lord, we come truly to say we thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon each of us. Lord, we ask, Lord, that you guide us through this meeting tonight, and we ask the blessing upon each and every person that's here tonight. And Lord God, as we leave this place tonight, we ask, Lord, that you allow each of us to get home safe and sound to our families. In your name we pray, and we all say amen. 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 Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with the secretary. No chairs additions. We're going to move straight on to number 5, the update for the parish-wide sewer. Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, you got it on. I talked to NWI this morning, and they said that everything is proceeding, more or less as planned, and that, there are no unusual circumstances, and we expect that there'll be a vote and probably an approval within the next 2 to 3 months.
Is that from the Public Service Commission?
That's from the Public Service Commission, correct. The update is from NWI.
Anything else?
That's all on the update.
We have a speaker, Mr. Corey Ogeron. The update.
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey. First time in 3 years I've been on this side of the podium. I chaired this committee back in 20 when we first were entertaining this purchase from NWI. August of 2020, after days of negotiating and having conversations with NWI and Bernhardt Partners, presented to the administration an offer to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with NWI. At that time, they were going to pay us $15 million, and that was going to be $15 million when they entered into the CEA, with the proposal that we would put the agenda item on the next election so that the citizens could vote. At the time, the administration was opposed to it, fought me vehemently, and as people know, social media name-calling went outrageous. Several months later, my understanding is Mr. Quintmont, Mr. Diaz, Mr. Melanson, I believe Mr. Dawson, all met with Terry Casso at her house. And I believe it was along with individuals from NWI. And at that point, you guys agreed that we were going to go for the election and that we were going to get an appraisal of the sewer company. I warned you then that the appraisal would be a bad idea, but the administration insisted that I was trying to take advantage of the parish and that I was supporting NWI. And there were a lot of ugly allegations. Well, after several months of intense negotiations, our administration negotiated a deal not for $15 million, not for $20 million, not for $25 million, but for $9.2 million. This administration cost us $6 million right off the bat because they were smarter and they accused me of a foul play. $9.6 million, that's what the public voted for. Public jumped on this humongously, and we have the deal in arrangement. Since that date, no CEA, which means that the parish has been incurring all the expenses for our sewer company. Is that correct? I've seen in our budget that we're paying, we've spent $4 million a year maintaining the sewer.
Well, we have a CEA with NWI. They do the maintenance and we pay them for
We
it.
do now.
We've had that since,
Hold
I
on,
think it's
Mr. hold on,
November
Mr.
of
Bill, hold on.
21.
You can
Oh,
have 3
Brad,
minutes,
he
and then
asked
we gotta
me.
clear up.
In the past, council members who come to this podium have been given leniency. Is that not correct?
Let's go ahead and finish up your question, and
Yeah.
then we'll try to take it at the end, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll get the questions at the end. My appreciation is that we've spent over $8 million since we could have entered into a CEA with NWI to manage and pay for the maintenance of our sewer system. At the end of the day, we're going to wind up selling this sewer system to a company, and we're going to net a loss. We're going to have spent more than $9 million maintaining it over these 3 years. So that, I mean, again, fellas, I'm not quite clear what has the logic been as to why we've acted the way we've acted. And then today, actually this morning, I learned something that was a little disheartening. And I was kind of hoping the president would be here so we could ask him personally. But my understanding is that President Quintmore's wife is currently employed by one of Mr. Bernhardt's, one of the owners of NWI, one of his other companies. And I'm concerned as to what's the connection, or if there is a connection to that. And it's a travesty, because this council's been shut out from the administration, doesn't want to give us the information that we deserve as council members to find out what the status is. We're waiting anxiously for 3 months to get a report on what's happening with parish-wide sewer, and our utilities director gives us a 30-second update saying things are going as planned, without any specifics or any details. And that's what this council has had to deal with this administration for 3 years. And it's a shame. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment that Mr. Quintmore's not here to answer these questions. It's an embarrassment that the public's trust, the public's funds have been utilized and have been abused for the last 3 years on this deal. And we need some changes. Parish-wide, we need changes. And I hope the 2 gentlemen that Mr. Quintmore sent here in his stead to answer these questions, I hope you guys can try to kind of give us some facts and some answer these questions. And maybe we can get some data on documents. But I yield my last 19 seconds to the council, to the committee. I want to thank you guys again for letting me speak. Appreciate it.
Mr. Johnny, you had anything? No. Mr. Coach? Mr. Dow?
Yeah, Bill, could you, so along the lines of what Corey was asking, can you provide, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we've already entered into the CEA. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is done. But just for the sake of maybe the next time we meet, could we talk about the financials of, what happened the minute we signed the CEA? Because at that point, NWI took over our customers.
That's correct.
But along the way, we have approved money to get paid for some systems. I mean, could you put together what it looks like? Because my understanding is we were losing $4 million a year. We were told, just told, not provided any information, but like a financial analysis of the last 3 years or since they've taken it over. Could you prepare something like that for us so we could see it?
So I didn't bring it tonight, but
Right.
I've
No,
done
that's
some
fine.
work. I've done some work on that, and we've either broken even or made a little money. So since the CEA was signed, You know, we've not had to take the $2 or $3 million out of either the general fund or the water wastewater fund and supported it with the fees, the current fees.
Okay. But could we?
But I can, yes, Dal, I can.
Yeah, maybe in the finance, Patrick, I mean, it comes, it's part of the budget and part of probably what you look at, it's spending and expenditures. Could we possibly have a little item on the agenda for finance? Maybe I could ask Michael to
Yeah,
just
we-
go
you know,
over what's gone on since the CEA was signed?
We can definitely put that together, and just so you know, I started in June of '21, and I know the sewer was getting sold, and I can tell you, we met so many times with the administration, making sure that we weren't gonna enter into a CEA with NWI that was gonna cost us more. Because we wanted to make sure that we kept that amount low, and at least in my dealings, we worked them pretty hard to make sure that agreement was structured in a way that the revenue we brought in was gonna pay for it. And it was a long, intensive process in finance where we ran, we did a lot of, calculations and looked at the budget. We worked with Bill and the administration to make sure. So it wasn't just done haphazardly. It was a big analysis. Dawn and I sat many a night looking at those numbers. So we can definitely get you the history of when that happened, what's happened since then, and look at those, like we've done for some of the other programs that we've given y'all histories of.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful. I mean, some questions he asked, but, I think the public does kind of wonder what's going on, what's happened since then. It'd be good to provide a financial analysis, just kind of maybe what was going on prior to the CEA, and then what's happened since then, show kind of what we've had to spend and maybe what they've spent.
Yeah, and then just also to reemphasize that we're at the mercy of the Public Service Commission. Unfortunately, that's the process. We have been waiting. We were told it could take a year. And, I didn't believe them, but they're gonna take as long as they need, and it's been a while. And so I hate that we're at their mercy, but, we ask Bill all the time, have they said anything yet? In finance, we know when we can transfer and transition everything over, all the assets, and the CEA will end, but unfortunately, we're still waiting on them, and that's something we can't control.
I mean, do we feel like it is their intention, once that's reviewed and passed, that they will build that sewer system?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we have a commitment that they'll build 2 regional treatment plants. Some of that is based on how many customers that they acquire, but, we're anxious for that clock to start ticking so they can build the first regional treatment plant.
Okay. All right, thank you. Do
Appreciate
you want me to just send an email to Michael asking him for the item, or you want to talk to him about it, as far as the finance committee? Michael Mason.
No, I can definitely talk to him.
Okay.
And I'm actually gonna be out of town for the next finance meeting. Could we do it in September? Is that a problem? I hate to wait that long, but it just, I'd like to be there, because, I
No,
love
that's
putting
fine with
together
me.
those slides.
Yeah, that's fine.
All those slides that y'all love that have all those numbers and charts and, small print.
Yep.
When in September, excuse me,
Go ahead.
when in September
So the finance meeting in September,
Tuesday.
will be the 12th, is that correct? The Tuesday?
Tuesday between the 2 council meetings.
Yeah. So the first council meeting is gonna be the 7th, because September 1st is a Friday, so it's one of those that just pushes it back a little bit. So the first Thursday is gonna be the 7th, and then the Tuesday after that will be the 12th.
I'll tell you, rather than wait that long, could we maybe find a council meeting to put it on? That works with your schedule? That way we don't wait another 5 or 6 weeks?
I was gonna make that request, especially on this update, if we wanna put it on general business, or however you wanna do it from this update, just in case we had to do any type of action. Would,
So do you,
Put it on the council, is that what
You
you're
do it
saying?
August 17th.
You wanna
That's
say the
that's
17th?
That's the next council meeting here,
17th works?
right? Because the Donaldsonville meeting will be next week, so
All right.
would that work?
I will be back from vacation, unfortunately.
But it still gives you time, but
17th?
No, that's not a problem
it
at
gives you another week past the finance committee on the 8th, so,
all. Okay, appreciate it.
17th is fine.
yeah. So we'll have to get with Chase to have him put an item on the council.
sure.
Yep. Thank you.
That's it. And I'd like to add just a couple more things here. I guess with, and I know I've been dealing with Mr. Dawson on this, with, Old Homestead, just other, I don't know if the word is out enough that we need to start educating people that, hey, look, the parish is just about out of the sewer business, and we need to get people on board with this. But, the spills and DEQ, has any reports been coming through, or have y'all been hearing anything? DEQ is out patrolling, I can tell you that now.
I
Have you ever
haven't seen
seen
any
anything?
specifically for Old Homestead, but they normally go to Zianka first, and she's been out on vacation. There could be some in the queue, but I haven't seen any.
So as far as DEQ, have y'all seen have had any reports or anything from, DEQ?
No, unless there's, like I said, unless there's something in the queue with Zianka's name on it that she hasn't, that she's been on vacation. She's been on vacation about the past week.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Let's try to have everything ready for the 17th, and that, we'll continue on from here. With that, we'll move on to number 6, update and discussion on quad area payments for PUA customers in need of assistance. Mr. Bill.
Well, I'm gonna hand this one off. Patrick is the expert here.
That's actually why I'm here, to talk about this one. Just to give you a little bit of history, we call it the Quad Area, but this is the Low-Income Housing Water Assistance Program. It's administered by the Louisiana Housing Corp. It's the program to address the needs to provide access to safe and affordable drinking and wastewater services to the state's low-income households. We actually got introduced to this a while back because Quad Area, who was trying to, sign us up, sent us an agreement. And just so you know, too, this money comes from two sources. It's the Rescue Act and also the Consolidated Appropriation Act. So it's two sources of money this is coming from. But they sent us an agreement, and the agreement had a few issues we had questions on, one of which they had a page of data requirements that would take our entire staff a lot of their time. So we were going back and forth and asking some questions, trying to work that out. And then we hadn't heard from them in a while. Well, recently, they amended the agreement and really streamlined it and made it much easier for us to get this accomplished. They actually said, they sent us some money and said, by cashing these checks, you enter into the agreement with us, which was fine, because at this point we were fine with the agreement. We actually sat down and had a long discussion to make sure we could administer this correctly. I talked to the Housing Corp, the person who's in charge of the program today, to make sure that we were on point. And so far, we've got 65 people, and I think we have a good handle on this now. We understand their new requirements, and we can work with them. It's not a problem. 65 people are signed up, and we're getting those payments now. And I tried to work with them to see if maybe we could get a heads up, because different entities do the eligibility. Then the recipient gets a pledge letter from the Housing Corp. And some people were thinking that pledge meant they had money, where it can take up to 90 days for them to send us the money. So we were trying to get to where we could reach out to the individuals who actually got the award and say, look, you got to pay your bill until you get the award. They spell that out in an email, but it's not always clear to everybody who's got it. So we were trying to get a little bit ahead of the game. The Housing Corp didn't have the staff to give us the heads up on who was coming in the queue, but we're going to try to work with Quad Area to see if they'll do that so we can try to get ahead of it. But so far, so good with those 65, and the money goes into their account, and, it'll show up as a credit on their account until it's done. And the award that they get is based on the household income size, or the household income, the size of the household, and the water wastewater burden. That's a calculation we don't do. I mean, we literally just get a check. The eligibility is done by somebody else. The determination of the amount is done by somebody else. That's all federal requirements. Then we get the check, we credit their account. We're gonna have to do some manual accounting on the side just to make sure we keep track of them, because if somebody has a $2,000 credit, they cannot close their account, or if they do, we have to immediately send that money back to the Housing Corp, because that's part of the federal requirements. So that's kind of the program in a nutshell and where we're at, but we are actively getting checks, and they're continuing to sign up people until the money runs out, and so we will just keep, we'll keep going along and crediting accounts, and Also making sure that they are customers, because we did find a couple they sent us that weren't our customers, and we're getting them to the right place. So we're doing everything we can to make sure the money gets to the right place.
Great. Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Chair. In looking at the, put this on the quad update, and the reason I put it on the agenda, because it was maybe 3 to 4 months. I think Kimberly Bro was there, and in me talking to quad area, wanting to help the poor people or the people that needed some assistance on their water bill, and they was gonna pay for it. And we was having a problem, as you talked about, trying to get it updated or get it into the system.
Yep.
And trying to help these people moving forward. So here we are at, I guess in July, and what you're telling me now is that things are moving along pretty good to where we are helping these people that really
Absolutely.
need the help.
I think we went from a
with some of the
7-page
water-
agreement to a 1-page agreement. And I thank the Housing Corp, because that really cleared all the roadblocks that we had, because the requirements would have been more than the small staff we had. You know, if you're a bigger parish that has a lot of staff, it maybe would have been a little bit easier, but we would have spent all of our time collecting data. And then the requirements of tracking it were a little onerous too. So I did thank the Housing Corp, and you know, they understood, and they said, look, that's why we did this. So yes, we are helping people, and we're glad this worked out, and the people have the money in their accounts, which is good.
Well, again, like I say, I was really confused on some stuff, because in sending it there, they advised me, the quad area, that we send the application over, and we didn't get a response from the administration to get this done in a timely manner.
Oh,
so that
Kim
we
and I
can help
talked to
these people.
Quad Area 5 or 6 times, and when we left it, the ball was in their court, and we never heard back from them. And so I was glad, I don't know if it was Quad or the Housing Corp that kind of broke the logjam and changed the agreement, but, you know, I applaud them for doing that, because we were kind of in a holding pattern waiting for them to answer. We had, I don't know, 6 or 7 questions, I don't remember, when Kim was here. You're right, Kim was the one that was trying to work with them to get the answers. You know, Amanda from Finance, myself, and Kim were, you know, we had many a discussion on this, and I'm glad the logjam got broke with the change in the agreement, so that was good.
Well, again, I'm very happy that we worked it out.
And no,
again.
and we thank you for continually getting up, asking us for updates, and, you know, checking on it, and
Well, I know it
helping
was
push this
something-
along.
It was something that I put in a while back, and we never got an answer on it, so.
Yep, no.
Again, we appreciate it, and I know the people, those people really appreciate it also. So thank you all. Thank you, Chair.
Appreciate you. Anything else? Y'all good with that? We'll
That's
move
it.
on to number 7, the update on fire hydrants, painting. Dean?
The painting contract was canceled. There is no active painting contract. We are, we're currently going out with an RFP that is due next week for maintenance and repair of the hydrants, because there's quite a few in the area that aren't working properly. They leak. And instead of worrying about painting them, we need to fix them. After we get them fixed, then we'll paint them. But this is gonna be like a task order contract that we put out for bid. And, we'll be able to issue task orders when the fire department says, hey, hydrant 72 won't work, or, you know, somebody ran over it, then we'll be able to write a task order and go get them repaired, instead of the fire department showing up, trying to hook up, and they ain't got nothing. So we're trying to make it to where it's a standard contract to fix them, repair them, replace them, whatever the needs are. And we'll also paint them after we get them all in working order.
Ed, yours, Johnny?
Yeah, I just got back from a NACO conference in Austin, and this same issue came up, oddly enough, with counties, especially with large municipalities. And they found vendors, service companies that do both. They inspect them, they give an inspection report, they find one broken, they report what repairs might be necessary, then they get a task order or whatever the contract states to repair it. And they also have one to go around, it's every so many years. When they inspect it and it needs painting, they'll put in a requisition to get that one painted as well. So I don't know if you can find a company that would handle all of those tasks, or.
And that's, the RFP includes inspections, testing, painting, repair, replacement. I mean, it's the whole package.
Good.
Now, whether one company can do it all, they may, join up with another company and go in together. But the contract would go to one contractor.
Okay. That's all, Chair. Thank you. Coach?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And who was beyond the previous 750 fire hydrants that we had? Or was it 400? And the total number of fire hydrants we had?
It's right at 500.
500?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say between PUA and ACUD, it's right at 493 or something like that.
Who was the contractor on this 750 or the 400 that we had that was doing it?
You talking about the painting contractor? I believe that was I believe it was. Honestly, I wasn't involved at that point in time, but I kind of came in on the back end of that. I do know that we severed ways with them at, no cost to the parish. They both agreed to separate and just leave it as is.
How many fire hydrants had they done before we came into finding out that
I believe it was 52, if I remember correctly.
that was at the price of $750?
I believe so,
But they didn't charge that.
but we didn't get charged that.
So what was the charge, if you can tell?
Charge was 0. We didn't pay anything.
After we completed our process, because we had actually stopped any payments but through the process, the last step was our project manager, Dean, and I want to give him a lot of credit. When he went out with James LeBlanc and did the final inspections, we met with the vendor, and we had already decided, and they had agreed we were not going to pay the original contract amount. It was going to be greatly reduced. After they did their inspection, we agreed to just part ways with no exchange of dollars, and we just ended our agreement with them. And so we did not pay anything for the work that they did perform. There was no payment at all.
And they done 50, you said 50, Dean?
52, if I remember correctly.
All right. And my other question was, how did we go about picking where we start off doing the fire hydrants? What was the position? I mean, who's the one to decide that we was gonna pick,
Well, it's my understanding that Matt entered into that contract and let them pick the ones, the priority they wanted to do.
so they went out and identified the worst fire hydrants they was gonna try and do, or they
That was
just
the criteria.
concentrated on the area?
They decided what the priority was, and I don't know what criteria they used.
So as of right now, we've canceled the contract to do any more fire hydrants.
Correct.
And that's why
Well,
Dean's
now-
doing the new process.
We have issued a repair contract for 4 hydrants that were, in bad shape that needed service. So we recently repaired 4, but that's a totally separate deal than what this original painting was.
Different company. Yeah.
Yeah, different company, everything's separate. And we got multiple prices before we issued it.
So we're gonna scratch the contract with doing the fire hydrants. We're not gonna even look at doing them, none at all.
No, we got an
killed the
RFP,
contract.
we got an RFP out right now that's coming in next week, that we're gonna have a selection committee, and we're gonna review the bidders, and we're gonna select a company that can do the maintenance and the repairs and the testing and inspections and painting, and it'll be under the proper guidelines for acquiring a company that we'll bring to y'all for, final decision, but it'll be on a yearly basis, where when a hydrant breaks or somebody runs over it, they'll be issued a task order, and they'll go out and replace it or repair it.
Not to cut you off, Coach, you got just a minute. I think we need to get a few more people involved with this. So the fire department, who determines what's broke or who's watching over the facility now?
Well, there are times that the fire department will tell us that one is broken, but when I came in, was told that we assume the responsibility for the maintenance of the fire hydrants.
Okay,
And basically what that is, Dempsey, is Jason Lichardi, our operations manager, and the fire chief communicate. When he has a problem with a hydrant, he gets word to Jason, and Jason writes it up.
okay. Now I see what you're doing. Go ahead, Coach, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So at this point, we have identified the next area we'll be doing the fire hydrants, or we haven't.
We have a list of hydrants that need to be fixed.
That's what I'm
We're
getting at.
repairing the ones that are broke.
Right.
Yes, those will be first and foremost. And they'll, be done in the areas that require the most, fire protection. In other words, whatever area we deem is more needed than others, we'll go at it like that. Because obviously the ones in the middle of the city protect a lot more houses than the ones out in Smoke Bend or somewhere like that there's a house every 3 miles.
Well, I would think, we need more.
Don't get me wrong, we want them all fixed, but,
Yeah,
we can only do so much and so,
I
so quick.
understand,
So
Mr.
you have to come up with some method, and that's the best way I know is to, rate them as a priority.
Right. Well, again, from 750 to, I'm not sure exactly what's the price gonna come to.
Well,
And
you
we
will-
are taking bids. We won't do what we did the first time.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I would like to, look at getting, within the city limits. We have some places in, especially Port Barrow area, where we don't have a fire hydrant within, distance of houses. I mean, we had a fire on Catawba Street that, we had to go at least 2 to 3 blocks for a fire hydrant. That house burned down. And, I'm looking at one to make sure that we try and identify and getting more fire hydrants in those areas that are needed, that we have within the city limits, the PUA, system, to where we can get some better service,
Okay.
for the
I
situation.
mean, I don't know the area that well, but if you will point out the areas, we'll definitely do the research, and we'll put the effort in to see what we can do. I know some of that area right now, until we get the water system straight, is, kind of a minimal, maximum flow, but we'll definitely work with you and see what we can do to help out.
Okay,
Anything else on the
thank you.
fire hydrants? Y'all good? We'll move on to number 8, the update on the 219 program, replacing water pipes, water meters, the Corps of Engineer. Dean?
Alright, the water meter project, the bids came in and we got no bidders because of the fact of a requirement that the Corps has on, confidentiality. So they asked if they could put it out as a Section 8A contract, which puts it into a different category of bidders. And we agreed to let them do that. And so they're rewriting the contract language right now, and it should be going out to bid hopefully in the next week to start getting bids on it. And I would say by September, we should be issuing a contract to install meters. As far as the piping is concerned, MSMM has completed the plans and the specs, and they have been submitted to the Corps' engineering department for review. And once they go through review at the Corps, then they'll be turned over to contracting. And once contracting puts the package together, then it'll be ready to go out for bid. So that's approximately December, January timeframe right now, if they don't have any issues. You know, I mean, the Corps does their thing their own way. We just kind of at their mercy, but that's where we at.
Go ahead, Corey.
My concern with the meters, as of right now, I know we had started putting meters in. As of right now, do we have a count of how many meters that we have changed within the course of the last 3 years? Because we've been working at this for quite some time,
I
putting the meters
understand.
in.
I
And,
think we have a count, I didn't bring it tonight. If, you know, if you want it, we can bring it back to the next meeting. I know that we did, you know, a complete subdivision, that's about 80 or 90, and then I think they told me that they had 300 or so to install on the, available right now. And they've probably installed another 300 or 400, but I can get the number exactly to you.
I would like to have that, if you mind, Bill, to see how many meters we have. And the older meters that we've had in the PUA system, and the PUA system, which includes the city limits. And most of those meters are old meters, and those meters definitely need to be changed out ASAP, because we've been having a little problem, so to speak, with high water bills, so to speak, and the reading of the meters. And the meters are not working as they should, so.
Of course, this project that Dean, the first one he referred to, is gonna change about 3,000 meters. So we should take care of all of PUA with this project.
Well, PUA is basically the whole,
Yeah.
the system. I mean,
Yeah.
ACUD one is a pretty new system. PUA is the system that, and that's city limits. When you talk PUA,
Yeah.
we need to make sure that we get those meters changes. And we've been working on that for quite some time, with changing other meters. And I would think, you know, but have me a number on
Yeah,
how
I'll
many
get you
that
a number.
we've changed thus
Okay.
far. All right,
Thank you,
Thank you.
George. Yeah, and, I guess on the water pipe, the pipe that we have over there, I know we've been dealing with some stuff way back. Has the pipe been replaced that we was talking about earlier? Some of the lead pipe and stuff, is it gonna this right here gonna take care of
You
some
know,
of the bad
I
pipe?
think, Councilman, nobody knows exactly how much pipe there is. As Coach is saying, you know, this stuff is 80 years old plus. We don't really have good drawings that do the locations on it. So, you know, this project is gonna be one where they're gonna have to, you know, just change what they, as it goes.
Yeah, I know we tried to way back, we was trying to prioritize this because some of
Yeah.
that stuff has to be out of the ground at a certain time, so we might wanna start watching this pretty close.
We actually have two programs. We have the water sector and we have the Corps of Engineers 219.
Right,
All right, and we got with Jason. And basically what we did is we focused on his most problematic areas.
Right.
What areas gives you the most problem with leaks, breaks, and all of that. And we took the water sector and hit this area hard, and we took 219 and we hit the other area that was his most problematic areas. And that's how we started.
Have we identified the most problematic area? Have we identified those areas?
Yeah,
That's what Dean said that
yeah,
they
that's what I'm
did.
saying.
Yeah, Jason
According to
did that.
Jason, that's
We had-
Jason LaCharty. That's the areas that he has the most problems with, leaks, line breaks, and, we're spending our most maintenance money in those areas trying to repair leaks and lines. And we're losing money when we do have leaks and stuff, cause, we can't recapture that water. So we focused on the areas that he's had the most problems with, which is the old areas.
Right, again, it's an old system and, it's been there for quite some time and
Yep.
I think we need to concentrate on getting the pipes that is there out of the ground and putting some new stuff in, moving forward.
okay, any other questions on that update? If not, before we go to adjourn, as far as the committee here, we have a lot of stuff coming up, August, September, October. I don't know if y'all wanna start, 4 months, we're meeting quarterly. We're gonna have some things coming down, especially with Public Service Commission. If y'all wanna have another meeting next month or September, get with Cinnamon or get with me, if you wanna have them monthly until we get some of this stuff,
I would recommend, Chairman, that, we would meet monthly because of the amount of stuff we have and to try and stay on top of it, keeping it moving, to not sort of lax off and, getting this stuff done. Because again, some of this stuff that we looking at here today has been on the table since 2020. So right now, it's not a time to let up on what we're doing and what we need to get done. So we need to, I would suggest that we have a meeting, once a month.
okay. Mr. John?
Yeah, as chairman, I would trust you to communicate with the staff
Oh, yeah.
and if something's necessary. I can't see, let's meet monthly just because we've got stuff going on. Let's make sure we have stuff to meet about and talk about. And I would think the chairman can coordinate with Cinnamon and staff
Sure.
and make that determination. We don't wanna call people out here for no reason. If
No.
if they don't have anything to report, is what I'm saying, Coach.
Well, we got a lot of reports. Some of this stuff I brought up here, with, the update on the quad area. That stuff there I had put up quite, months ago.
Well-
And we just finalized, we just got to that.
Why don't
And,
we
the
agree that
update
when
on
they-
the fire
why don't we
hydrant,
agree that when they
we-
come
we
up with
had,
answers and
we-
something to report, then we can meet? How's that?
we need to just stay on top of it.
Look, we just don't wanna push no one out here, but we're gonna need some action and stuff that's going on to the regular council agenda, so. If you can
That's
put
always
it
an
through
option.
finance, or if you wanna put it through somewhere else, just let me know, but I'd like to keep the citizens up to date, especially with the parish-wide, so. Sure. With that said, we'll
Motion
adjourn.
adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Johnny, second by Mr. Dow.